As that coverage continues on NewsNation Now, I'm Connell McShane here in New York. You see there has been a lot already going on this Friday. And now we add to that the breaking news we've been covering in the last few minutes, Hamas responding and saying it's prepared to accept some of the key terms in President Trump's peace plan for Gaza, including potentially releasing the hostages. All right, this is developing as we speak. We've had News Nation's Robert Sherman all over it. He's live in Tel Aviv, and we bring in at this time each day News Nation correspondent-at-large Geraldo Rivera with his take on things as well. Robert, stand by. We'll get you back here on details in a moment. But Geraldo, this just broke. Robert was telling us about it as it came on. Your reaction from what you've heard so far from Hamas's response?
I love it. You know, I'm always very skeptical of any announcements of progress in the Middle East, particularly in Gaza. But this is a real give to me, it seems. Hamas ready to release all the hostages. That is the first time I have ever heard them suggest something so sweeping. Yes, there are the caveats that some may be held by the other Islamo-fascist groups there. But having said that, I love this. This is the first most positive pronouncement I have heard. They want to continue existing. Okay, they are allowed under the 20-point peace plan, as far as I can recall, to stay in Gaza if they care to, or flee. I like this, Connell. I think this is the best news we've heard in quite a while.
The reason, Robert, I went to Geraldo first there is I wanted to see what he was going to say, because he has so much experience in this area, the Middle East, and he often reminds me to be cautious, right? As he said, often very, very skeptical. So I was curious what he would say, and he's, sounds optimistic. You wonder now what's next in all of this, because to Geraldo's point, there's a lot of firsts in here. First time we've heard this kind of talk out of Hamas.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, there are a lot of firsts in this situation here. I would say that we had been getting rumblings up to this point that this was likely the trajectory that we were headed to. If you listen to what Egypt's foreign minister had to say about all this, he described there as being holes in the arrangement here, particularly when it came to the security issues and guarantees for Hamas and what their future would look like. Because remember, I mean, in this proposal here, Hamas members can either leave Gaza outright, or they could stay and accept amnesty if they agree to coexistence with Israel. And then there's the day after effect of all of this with governance as well, which, from the position of mediators, is there in principle, but not necessarily ironed out line by line as to what that should be looking like. So some of these mediators that you've heard from have acknowledged that there are going to be a few loops that need to be closed on all of this. Suppose that the bottom line is that Hamas has given a rather positive answer here and has given indication that they're prepared to part ways with what is really their only bargaining chip, which are the 48 hostages that are still inside of Gaza. But they want the assurances on the other side of that there's no situation in which the war could be restarted. Because remember, Israel has Gaza City practically surrounded, and the president even said today that he has the finger next to the green light to give to the Israelis if Hamas gives an unsatisfactory answer. So, I mean, that is the level, the precipice that we are approaching here as this answer, this hedged answer, comes down from Hamas.
So what is the Trump peace plan? On the tablet, I have it. Let's put it on the screen for a moment so we know what they were being presented with, the components of the Gaza peace plan from President Trump. Let's put that up. So Israel releasing the Palestinian prisoners, the 1,700 detainees, okay? And then this is the key point we've been talking about here, and we have this basically from Hamas today, the releasing of these hostages, which they say they're open to, members being granted amnesty if they demonstrate peace efforts, with Israel's withdrawal. That's interesting, Robert. You want to maybe weigh in on that before we go back to Geraldo, being gradual from Gaza, Palestinian committee overseen by an international body also, and the recognition of a pathway towards Palestinian statehood. Those two, the committee being overseen by an international body, so post, war Gaza, what about that for Hamas, Robert? And also the withdrawal. You talked about how they have Gaza City surrounded, and the gradual withdrawal could be maybe an issue here as well, or no?
Yeah, I mean, the gradual withdrawal of IDF troops, I mean, that is another place in which you have seen so far some conflicting opinions within the Israeli government as to exactly how entrenched inside of the Gaza Strip they should be, if there should be a long-term presence or there should be a buffer zone. I mean, there are disagreements about that within the war cabinet as to what that should look like. And conversely, there are disagreements about that from Hamas as well as to exactly what role IDF troops will play, where they will be here. So, I mean, that is certainly an area for negotiation that Hamas has been looking at. To what extent will the IDF be pulling back here, and the timeline of all of that? There was a proposal that was put out by the president for the staggered withdrawal of IDF troops there. And then you bring up, you know, the big picture in all of this here, Connell. I mean, you talk about the day after and the focus on trying to push towards, you know, a so-called brighter horizon between the Palestinian and the Israeli people. I mean, there's an even bigger big picture at play here, is that this is viewed as the first step in order to try and get broader peace deals throughout the region and recognition of statehood of Israel here. But it all begins here at getting this across the finish line. There's a lot of big plans for the region here in the next few months and years. This deal has to get closed in its entirety first.
Stand by, Geraldo. I want to ask you about this from the president's point of view as well. But first, to the White House, and let me bring Kellie Meyer in on the north lawn of the White House. I think you have the official statement from Hamas, Kellie. So let's go through that, and then anything else that you're hearing, if anything at all, from the Trump White House on this, and then we'll go back to Geraldo for his take.
Yeah, so we just ran back into the White House. There's less staff here today because of the shutdown, of course, but we were checking in, trying to find the White House press secretary, the communications director. They're all in a meeting right now. We're told it isn't exactly on this. It could be on a number of things, but we are waiting to hear from more from the White House on this. But we did just get in a statement. This is from Arab officials I'm speaking to right now, both saying that this has been, in their words, accepted, though there are things that still need to be worked out. The way they put it was accepted with negotiations to remain. And then there was this long statement from Hamas. It said, in part, after a thorough study, the movement made its decision and submitted the following response to the mediating brothers, as they said. They said that they're calling for the end to the war on the Gaza Strip, the exchange of prisoners, the immediate entry of aid, the rejection of the occupation of the Gaza Strip, and the displacement of our Palestinian people from it. So essentially, some of the things that they're talking about here: ready to release all Israeli captives, both living and dead, agreed to hand over the admin of Gaza to an independent body, and saying that the future of Gaza essentially will be addressed through the comprehensive Palestinian national framework. So a lot in that. We're still working through the statement, and also, again, trying to find out the response from the White House. But we are waiting to see, likely to hear from the president on True Social on this. This is a big moment, and obviously we started the week here with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu here in the state dining room. We were there as he and the president were revealing this Gaza peace plan. They didn't take any questions because they were waiting for what Hamas would say. Now we're hearing what Hamas is saying, and we're waiting to see where it goes from here, because it comes as the president just put out that truth earlier today on True Social, saying that their deadline was coming up on Sunday, 6 p.m. Otherwise, all hell would break loose. So this comes now. We're waiting to see what the White House may say. Connell.
So this is, to Kellie's point, Geraldo, a big moment for President Trump.
If this succeeds, this is huge. And if he gets the Nobel Peace Prize after this, then shame on Norway. But I have to say that what I would like to see is some overt sign from the IDF. I know it's not specifically in the 20-point plan. Just let the guns go silent now for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Just let's keep our fingers off the trigger, or keep our fingers on the trigger, but don't pull the trigger. Show some overt sign that the Israeli government of Benjamin Netanyahu understands that Hamas is moving, that we're not renegotiating this deal, we're not giving them any sweeteners, but there's no reason now to have, to keep the military pressure on. I would like very much to see Bibi Netanyahu ease off, give this thing a little breathing room, a couple of hours, maybe till, noon tomorrow, I don't know, something. Don't even make any announcements. Just know, just have your, get safe, be in good, defensive positions. Let your tanks stop rolling, your cannons stop firing, your snipers stop shooting. I think that would be just something. And then and as part of this, let Qatar and these other countries all say how happy they are. Let's encourage. It's like a hard birth here. Let's all get involved here. Yeah, that's it. I like what I'm hearing. Let's get this thing done. You know, just a little maybe off the delineated path, but a little enthusiasm for what could be a big historic breakthrough.
Could be very big. Yeah, a little encouragement from Geraldo never hurts. By the way, Robert, how active have things been? I mean, you talked about Gaza City earlier, but even in Tel Aviv, have you seen rockets? I mean, to Geraldo's point now, hopefully we don't. But how active have things been here the last few days?
Well, it's been rather quiet here in Tel Aviv the last couple of days. On the one hand, for the observance of Yom Kippur, and then right now it's actually Shabbat here. So, I mean, it's even questionable how many Israelis have even heard this news necessarily, because for many people here in this country, their phones are off and they won't see anything until tomorrow. You know, so that's an interesting dynamic at play here. Something that Geraldo said that was really important here is, you know, just the fragility of this whole situation. I mean, keep in mind, Kellie was in the White House on Monday when the Prime Minister was here, and there was a pretty vocal point made, no questions, to either President Trump or Prime Minister Netanyahu, just because of how fragile this whole situation was. How often do you see that from the 47th president? So there is a lot that is at play here. It is a very fragile situation. People are certainly going to be waiting very anxiously to see what the next step is.
We saw it with Putin, we saw it with Netanyahu, and hopefully today's news leads us to believe that the results are better this time around. Let's hope for the best. This is big news if it all works out with what we've heard from Hamas. Thank you, Geraldo, Robert, and Kellie, with terrific reporting as well. We'll stay on the story.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.